Hello, hello, welcome to Quackalope. I'm Daniel and this is a duck.
You always steal the duck line from me. It's my favorite thing to say.
My kids did.
I'm a duck. There, I got it in no matter what.
There you go.
We are covering 5 games every family should own, or 5 board games to start your family's collection. Yes. And we're doing so down here in your studio space. Yep. Now, it's weird to have you in this seat. You don't
I usually sit there when we do adult videos.
I was going to say, you don't really belong here. You're still getting used to the on-camera presence type stuff. But your kids, Jared and Peyton, are absolute superstars.
Yes.
And over the last year, they have been demonstrating, displaying, and showing off a whole slew of kid-friendly family games, also Kickstarter projects, and a wide variety of just, I'll be honest, aggressively respectable board games.
Yeah.
They play nearly everything except for Kingdom Death Monster, and I will bring it down here one day for them to try when they're both 16.
I have not played it either, so
well, I'll wait till you're 46. So
I trust your
we'll put a blush on your face and wait till
they're grown up. It's a lot longer for me to get to 46 than for them to get to 16.
I don't know how old any of you are.
11, 7, 36.
10 more years.
Okay.
That'll work for me. Either way, how can people go find out more about your channel?
YouTube.com/kidsplaining.
Or the link at the very top of this video.
At the very the top or bottom?
It's here, technically.
Yes, down top of the description.
The description's there, and then the link's going to be somewhere associated with that.
Yep.
Now, why did you want to do a family game list specifically?
Because it's just been so significant to us. And we had a few board games. We had, I think, 7 or 8 standard old school Uno and Monopoly board games prior to March of 2020. And those were like Castle Panic and Ticket to Ride, which we loved.
When the world decided to shut down,
when the world shut down, we started playing more games.
Yeah.
And that opened up opportunities to play more games.
How have board games over the last year, over your experience with them, changed the way that you approach time with your family, both with your kids, with your 2 boys, and then also I'm curious with your wife? How has it impacted your family?
It's just an escape. I mean, it facilitates time. What I love about board games over, say, even watching a movie or video games is there's conversation going on. Yes, you may be focused on your turn and what you're doing, but there's interaction. Instead of everyone looking forward and focused on the screen, you're focused on each other and watching what the other players are doing. And for us, as we're homeschooling and dealing with those formative years, it's opened up doors for growth. It's opened up doors to challenge Peyton in reading, to challenge their imagination, interaction, being okay losing, being a gracious loser and a gracious winner. It's been such a great experience. And then for Allison and I, we can't go out. We're not allowed. We haven't been allowed to leave for a year. So to be able to play a different game or to just sit down at the table and find a game that isn't so intense that you can't talk through it, but just finding games that facilitate just time together.
Yeah.
And again, for us, because most of the games that we've played have been in the context of 2 adults and 2 kids, to find games that fit that everyone can play.
Sure.
We buy very few. We never anymore buy junior versions of games because we found that it's a great way to push kids because they want to play if they want to play, and you can't make them play. But if they want to play and they want to be involved, then they can surprise you with how well they are at just gathering concepts and
for sure
beating the snot out of their parents at board games.
I mean, listen, you beat the snot out of your parents once, you're going to do it 12 more times. They'll catch up to you and surpass you by the time we're all playing Kingdom Death together. That's what I've realized. So all these games have a special place in your collection. Yes. They have a reason why you've tabled them. They're on your list because they've impacted your family in a positive way. And your argument is these 5, if a new family was looking at the board game space and trying to decide what to start out with, this gives them a collection of titles that are fun to play, that bridge the gap between parent and adult, and also provide a wide breadth of genre for you to start exploring other games. They're all sort of intro level that'll walk you into the wider world of board games.
Yes, and these are all going to be, if you've looked at any board games, you're not going to be surprised at what these are. They're not super niche games. But there's a reason that they're not super niche games.
You should still pay attention because all of them are good.
Absolutely.
Starting here with a roll and write. Now, a roll and write game is going to be where you're rolling dice and resolving a pen, like a felt tip pen, on a piece of plastic or paper that's going to allow you to score and think critically kind of on your feet based off of a set of random instructions, and everyone's resolving those random instructions together at the same time.
Correct.
Railroad Inc. Yes. Why is this the one that hit your list?
This one, and I sadly passed this up at our local game store for a couple years. They recommended it. I thought you're drawing railroads and rolling dice. Like, what's the deal with that? And we got it. We played it. And this game over last summer, I think Allison and I played every morning for at least like 90 days straight.
Just you two? Was this a couple focused game?
No, this was we got up, we had our coffee, we went to the back to the schoolroom, and the boys woke up and they knew to give us to like 7:15, 7:30 before they...
Why did this become your couple game?
I think it just hits that it's not so intense. We can still talk about it. We can start the day. It's not so for a start the day over coffee game. It's not so like mind heavy that you're unable to play it. It's very light. It's diverse enough, and you're rolling dice, so it's random. You don't feel like you're playing the same game over and over. You have your score to beat, like your best score. You also have the other person's best score. This is the game that got us to start recording plays.
Nice.
So that we could kind of keep up with what we were doing. It's got some expansions with it, so it has variety, but it's just a simple game.
Yeah.
Can play in 20 or 30 minutes.
It's so good. It's so solid. And now there's a ton of expansions and different ways to play.
I missed that by like a week.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
So I have to wait for our game store to get it.
I mean, I'm friends with the publisher. We could just send them this video.
Sounds good.
I don't know. I don't know if they'll send you anything. But
I wait the bid box.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll send you the bid box, but maybe some of the expansions or something. Yeah. If you agree to force your kids to play it on camera, or you and Allison talk about your experience with it.
We will. Before you go on, let me give one plug. Not for this game, but if you have a local game store, find them, support local, but also trust their judgment. We have some of the best games we've gotten have been suggestions from our game store that were just totally off the wall. And we're like, okay, and you haven't steered us wrong yet, and they continue to not. Which this also was one of their suggestions.
Azul. Now, this is going to be the third Azul.
Yes, and it was the first one that we could find because when the pandemic hit, Azul was sold out.
Sold out entirely.
8 months.
Summer Pavilion. There's an expansion coming out soon. Are you paying attention to that?
No, I'm not.
It sets things up on a secondary level. It gives you more more decision space when it comes to the board.
Like a literal second level?
I believe so. I believe it's like a transparency up just slightly above the stained glass.
Okay.
Either way, Azul Summer Pavilion. Talk about this game, your experience with it, how have you played it, and why does it get to the table for your family?
This one gets to the table with the four of us. Again, Railroad Inc., couple game. Kids will play it, but they don't like it as much as we do. This one, it's all open information, which is really important for us because we're playing with a 7-year-old up to 35, 36.
Yep.
So having open information makes it really easy to play a little bit heavier games and guide them. This isn't a heavy game, but those first few plays, there's some concepts that take a little bit of getting used to. So it's a great puzzle. Again, it's relaxing. It's not overly heavy. It's got a little bit of just enough take that kind of, I'm going to steal these tiles that I know you might need without being overly mean. But this for us was our Sunday morning game as a family. Pretty much every weekend we would play it as a family. We just like the theme. It's not boring. It's every game is different because it's got the randomness of the tile drafting, but it became one of our staples.
Summer Pavilion over the others?
Allison would say no. I would say yes. I think I like Summer Pavilion. Allison, we finally did find the original and played it. She prefers the original. I prefer this one. I think this one has a little more variety.
It does.
It just has more to do and you're less locked into that.
Yep.
So I prefer that. She, for her reasons.
The original one's a classic, though. Yep. Honestly, I'd say any but the middle.
I have not played the middle off of it.
It's not a bad one, but the first and the third are well and far the ones that have been received the best by the community.
And that was when we could find this one. We could also find the middle one, and people said, wait for the original.
Summer Pavilion. Yep. Yeah. Castle Panic, a game that you mentioned you had in your household as one of the, we play board games?
This was the first game that we got. My brother got us this game for Christmas now about 3 or 4 years ago. It was the first, legitimate modern board game that we had in our house.
Okay.
It is cooperative. It's the first cooperative game we've ever played. Had no idea when he was like, here, try it. You play against the board.
Yep.
It's like, what does that mean? You play against the board. So this was a new experience. It opened up a world of, prior to this, we had Phase 10, Skip Bow, Canasta, all great games, but it just opened up a whole new world. Yes. And again, it's all open information. It's all public information. So when we got this, Peyton was 5. So for him, it really created the opportunity to kind of paint the picture. He could do cool stuff. We could kind of guide him through. Again, it's the quarterbacking problem that people find with cooperative games played to our advantage because we were playing with young kids. So we could quarterback for them,
and set up a move,
talk to them.
You start letting them make their calls.
And talk to them about what they're going to do, but then let them put the cards down and they reach out and they do the stuff. And then, so they learn that sequence and then they start making decisions together. And then they start saying, no, I don't want to do that. Or no, I'm keeping this card. I'm not going to give it to you.
I understand I should stop the barbarians, but I really focused on this other thing.
And Peyton has gotten to this, with this and other games where we say, hey, why don't you do this? And he's like, no, I got a plan. And with Peyton, something that's been just crazy is he will sit there quietly. And he does it with Catan, he does it with that. And he'll just sit there. It's like, hey, with Catan, hey, you want some, you look like you need sheep. Do you want some sheep? And he's like, no, I have a plan. And okay, I mean, he's 7, 6. Yeah. Let him, he thinks he's doing it. We'll just let that roll.
I like it.
And then 3 turns later, it's
he has a plan.
Longest road, biggest army. I just won.
He has a plan.
Yes, and he does. So this really, games like this allow them to shape that planning, and it's just so much fun.
Quacks of Quidlenberg.
Yes, one of those that we were told for forever that we needed to get.
You just need to start listening to people.
I do need to start listening to people. Put it off for a while, because this one it's on a little more expensive side.
It is. It's a bag building game.
Yes.
We're going to be drawing from chips, which represent different ingredients, going into a pot, trying to build out the outer circle of that until you bubble over. Yep. This one is pressure luck to, about the best way you can approach it.
And you're not interacting with each other.
But you are screaming at each other going, I just got another white one.
Yep. And kind of, you could probably just get one more.
Yeah.
You've got a 1. You've got a 1 in 7 chance.
Yeah, you're good. Go for it.
So it's not interactive in that you're directly affecting the other people, but it is kind of, especially once you've called it quits for that round and you're just watching the other people keep going and kind of either egging them on to try and mess them up or whatever. But it's just such a fun game. There is a reason that everyone says get Quacks.
Yep.
It is fantastic. It's different.
It's ruckus fun in a way that the other ones are fun.
Yes.
This is the closest to laugh out loud, shout at the top of your lungs. We're all just suffering together.
And it has a fantastic catch-up mechanism.
Yeah, it does.
That for us as a family is really important.
Yeah.
That it has just a great catch-up mechanism, that you're never out of the game completely. And you can't screw up the other people. You can't directly mess them up. So it gives everyone independence, and it's good with 2 people, just as good as it is with 4 people, or one. I think it's 1 person. Yeah, no, 2.
Yeah, 2. So the last one we have here. Now, is this the favorite? Do you have these in any particular order?
This is still one of my favorite games. It is at the top of the list. Again, there's
one
a
of
reason.
My introductions into the board game space. Yeah. This and Catan were the first 2 new board games I think my family played.
Yep. I think it was. For us, it was Castle Panic, and then Ticket to Ride was next. Maybe Pandemic, but it was one of those 3.
Why do you still suggest people get Ticket to Ride into their collection? If they're a brand new family getting into this hobby space, why does Ticket to Ride hold up?
I'm really good at it. I have a solid strategy
that
with it,
and
I can still beat my kids at it. So this is the one game that.
So for you, it has personal meaning.
Yes, that confidently, if I say let's play Ticket to Ride, I'm confident that I can win 75% of the time.
What are you doing in Ticket to Ride?
In Ticket to Ride, you have this big map of the United States. Yep. You're drawing cards. You are trying to build railroads. You're collecting sets. And there's some push your luck, or not push your luck, but there's some randomness to it because you can draw face down cards, you can draw face up cards, but you're trying to collect sets and build routes.
It does have a little bit of player interaction. You can cut people off a little bit or close off some routes.
You can, and there's some routes that there's only 1 or 2 ways to get to a certain city, which can really tick Allison off when I take all the routes to Las Vegas I don't need them.
She should have gone there first.
I know. But it's as a family game, it is simple enough that I think we got this when Peyton was 5. And just the concept of you need 5 orange trains to take this route. And I think for a family game, having really young kids introduces a level of difficulty for the older players, because the older players are thinking rationally and trying to complete routes. The younger players are just thinking, hey, I have 5 orange cards. I'm going to take this route. I can't even read the cities, but I see 5 orange trains there. And they screwed up for everyone else who actually needed that.
Yep.
So it's just it holds up. It's fun. And every game is different. It's not it moves fast enough. I like that every turn you have you either draw cards or you lay trains down, and that's it. So it goes around really fast. It's a good game that for us has allowed, it's facilitated opportunity to say, hey, think ahead. Think about while everyone else is going, think about what you're going to do on your turn, which in raising good, courteous gamers, that's to not wait till you get to your turn to even look at your cards. So it's just created a lot of opportunity. Yeah. All of these games have created opportunities for social growth, to learn, again, to be a gracious winner, to be a gracious loser, and just have fun, and you're not looking at a screen.
And I believe you have 2 honorable mentions, because a list video isn't a list video unless you break it by part.
Yes.
So Astro Trash?
Astro Trash.
Astro Trash.
These are the 2... And Combio. Yes, these were our 2, I call them our dark horse, just
I've never heard of either of these games.
So Astro Trash is from the op. They sent it to us early on in Kidsplaining. And what it is everyone has a little planet with these plastic trash pieces, and the sun is in the middle, and you roll 3 dice. One of them has a number.
Okay.
One of them has a direction, left, right, or sun. And then one has a shape. So you roll those, and that tells you how many of each shape you can take off of your planet and put it either on someone else's or in the sun. And you're trying to clear your planet off. And it looks so just kiddish. It is kiddish. And it's little plastic, hard plastic bubble gum and just foil wrappers and stuff. But after our first game, we were exhausted.
Yeah?
Like, all of us were just sitting at the table, like checking our heart rate. It was so fast paced, and it wasn't expected. It was not. It was just, okay, so here's how we play. Okay, let's go. And we started rolling the dice, and then all of a sudden there's trash on my board that wasn't there. And then, okay, I need to get that back. And it was just, it's so simple and just so much fun. Again, it was out of the blue, had no expectations for it, and it blew us away.
Cool.
Yeah.
This might be one that I look up. Yeah. I'm compelled.
It's stupid simple and so much fun. Combio is a memory game. It's you lay out 4 cards. Everyone puts 4 cards in front of them. You can look at the 2 that are closest to you. It has a similar mechanism if you played Silver.
Okay.
Similar to that, but you look at the 2 closest to you, and those are the only 2 you get to look at. And certain cards give you abilities. So what you're trying to do is get your set of cards down to the lowest. Some cards let you swap cards with other players. Some let you discard a card. Some let you look at other players' cards. And then if a card that gets discarded that matches a card that you know of on the table, you can pick that card up and discard it, even if it's someone else's. So if I've gotten to look at one of your cards and you discard a 5, you may not know this is a 5, but I do. So I can discard that for you and then give you one of mine. So there's definitely take that, because you are sticking other people with bad cards. Again, this was one that was it was sent to us. It sat on our shelf for a couple months, and on a Saturday morning, I said, hey, Allison, we should play this game, because we should play it. And we played it, and we're like, hey, kids, come play this game. And it is one of our staple games now.
I like it. Well, thank you for showing off your family games.
Yes,
I'm glad I got a chance to come down and film a few videos with you. Do you think I'm getting that $20 back?
No.
I mean, he did hustle me, though. You'll admit to that, right?
No.
Okay. You don't think that? I mean,
no.
Okay. Fair and you thought that was fair and square?
I do. I think Alex agrees that that's fair and square too. You got to keep up with what the youths are doing now, and Rubik's Cubes are in again.
If you're lost on this part of the conversation, keep an eye on the channel here. And swing over to Kate-Splaining. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. They're doing a lot of good stuff over there. Whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get out and play some games. We'll see you next time.
Go feed a duck.
Well, I mean, that is one of the important things.
Yeah, but not bread, apparently.
No, peas.
And
Ducks
duck feed.
like peas. Well, peas as well.
I've never seen a duck eat peas.
You should try
I have ducks.
I know.
I'll
you
get
should
some peas
try
on the way
feeding
home.
them. I believe it's frozen peas in a little bit of lukewarm water. They just go absolutely... Like, if peas were humans and ducks were gigantic, it would be a horrible thing.
Okay. So, I have to ask this.
Yeah?
Horse-sized duck?
Yeah.
Or 1,000 or 100 duck-sized horses? Which would you rather fight?
Well, I'm not fighting either of them, but I will take the horse-sized duck because I could ride it to glory.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you would tame the duck.
Oh, I would befriend the duck, or I would be, the duck would be my master. Either way, I'm okay with this scenario.
Okay. Good to know. That's what everyone has wanted to know since you started the channel.
We, the duck and I, would fight 100 duck-sized horses. We'll see you next time.
All right.